Welcome back. In Module 1, again, you'll set up the systems that make everything else work. Together, we'll establish clear routines and procedures that run themselves, align your year-long curriculum so you always know where you're headed, and organize the professional tools that keep you focused and efficient. By the end, your classroom will feel calm, consistent, and ready for learning, and you'll be walking out the door each day confident, prepared, and without a full bag of work to take home. In Chapter 2, Align, we will create a bird's eye view of your school year. By blocking events, assessments, and activities before entering your units, you place the most important standards in effective teaching windows. The time estimate for the work in this chapter is 2 45-minute planning sessions. Normally, you would do these before school starts, but you can adjust and pick up right where you are. First, you use the yearly Block It calendar to map your pacing for the entire year in a single session. This tool starts with the Camilla the Curriculum Planner, a ChatGPT I created just for you. She walks through creating a week-by-week plan. She already knows the Ohio standards for all grades and subjects, the Common Core standards for math and English, and the Next Generation Science standards. You can add any standards that she doesn't already have. Finally, you plan meaningful community building for shorter weeks. Make sure you keep that Google Notes doc handy for ideas that pop up. Make sure you keep that Google Notes. When teachers skip big picture planning, the year often turns into a scramble. Some units get rushed, others drag, and valuable culture lessons get pushed aside. A year-at-a-glance pacing guide ensures that every standard is addressed, instructional time is maximized, and your classroom community remains a priority. Teacher clarity, Hattie effect size of 0.84, gives you and your students a shared vision of the year. But collective teacher efficacy, Hattie effect size of 1.57, strengthens when teams sit down and align calendars and plan units together. This is the single strongest factor in all of Hattie's research. Placing high priority content during uninterrupted teaching windows boosts mastery. Anticipating weird weeks keeps momentum without sacrificing those relationships. When you follow this process, you'll create a streamlined and focused guide for your year, cover all standards without last-minute cramming, protect time for relationship building, reflection, and reteaching, and meet accomplished level expectations for planning and pacing on your teacher evaluation. Let's start by opening the yearly Block It calendar template. You'll also need your district calendar, testing dates, PD days, and any other pre-planned events you already know about. Start by plugging in the big stuff first. First and last days of school, PD, holiday breaks, testing days, anything that interrupts instruction. Also, add in recurring regular events, like library visits or grade level meetings. Here's a section of the calendar after I plugged all of that in. Go ahead and pause the lesson now to take care of this. Now, we're going to input the beginning of the year lessons that are part of this process. We've talked about some of them, but the others will come. This includes co-creating expectations, consequences, this or that procedure learning game, student interest and learning profile survey, and sending home a parent survey, beginning of the year assessments for use with goal setting later, and goal setting. This is what my calendar looked like after I added those things in, and a couple other things our building had planned. Even if you haven't planned these lessons, it's important to make time for them in your schedule, so pause and do that now. Put them on the calendar. If at any time you're confused, remember, the explanations of what, how, and when to plan these activities are detailed in each resource included in the course. The last step before the fun starts is spotting your best teaching chunks. Identify uninterrupted stretches for your most important units. Flag the weird weeks, short weeks, right after breaks, or odd schedules. Reserve these for review, reteaching, enrichment, or identity celebrations, which we'll address very soon. This is the final step before trying out one of my favorite parts in this module, a GPT made just for you. Pause one last time to identify your power weeks. Now, I will introduce you to one of your teaching assistants, Camilla, the curriculum planner. She's a custom GPT that I created just to plan out your curriculum for you. This is where all of your standards, weeks, and pacing start to come together in a clear, purposeful order. Camilla already contains the Ohio standards for all grades and subjects, Common Core standards for reading and math, and next generation science standards. She will guide you through the planning process the whole way. If you use standards that aren't listed above, you'll need a version you can upload to Camilla. PDF, Excel, Google Doc, almost any file method is fine. Even a link to a web page will work. I'm going to show you what this would look like, and then you can try it for yourself. Okay, so I've opened up the yearly Blockit calendar, as you can see here, and I'm just going to open up the ChatGPT by clicking on it there. And I've not done this in quite some time, so I thought that would be a good opportunity for me to come at it like fresh, so that you can see what it's like. So it says type hello to get started. So I'm just going to type hello. Okay, and she says, what grade level am I planning for and subject? Should we use Ohio Standards, Common Core, Next Generation, or another set? Okay, so if you want her to use another set, you can either just tell her right here, I want you to use the standards at such and such website, paste the website here, this grade level, this whatever, as long as they're easy to get to. Or if you have a PDF or something, you just hit this little plus button and you can attach the file straight to your request here. So if you're not using Common Core, Next Gen Science, or Ohio, you're going to need to add your own standards or a link to them. So I'm just going to say ninth and ELA. Oh, she's asking, do you want to use Ohio or Common Core? And I'm going to say Common Core. Okay, and now she's just confirming with me that these are the standards that I want to use, and they are. And I actually do not want to include speaking and listening or language. So it says, would you like to exclude any standards that are already covered, not assessed, or not relative? Okay, so do not include speaking and listening. And the reason I'm saying this is because I usually teach these throughout the year, not in isolation. And then I'm also going to say, I know there's some, here you go, read level, grade level. So I'm going to say, and I'm just going to copy this here. And it says at both, on both informational and literature. So I'm going to say, also leave out, and it says RL. I'm going to say RL and RI. Okay. And we'll see how that goes for right now. So here's the revised list based on the ones I said to leave out. All right. So for right now, that looks good. She says, does this look good to you? If so, I'll be organizing the standards. Okay, so I'll say yes, and I'll see what she comes up with. Okay, so she says that each unit will begin with a reading and analysis. And she's put a lot here. She has put together reading and writing, which I like. I don't like that she's put just writing in this last one, conduct research projects. Let me look at the informational. Okay, let me just start at the beginning. So I'm looking through. Citing text will go everywhere anyway. Theme, central idea, characters. I'm going to say, I'm going to copy these, paste it down here, and the word meanings, I'm going to pull out of there as well. I'm going to paste that. Okay, so I'm going to say, please pull these out into a separate unit. Okay, so let's see what happens now. So text evidence, theme, characters, author's choices, point of view goes with narratives. I like that first one. Central idea. Okay. I'm going to take out, so I'm just pulling out a couple here that I want to pull out. Okay, for right now, I'm just going to do that. And I'm going to say, please put these in a separate unit with the research writing. Okay, and let's see what happens there. Okay, and so I could keep going with this if I wanted to. I'm just going to say, we're good right now, so let me know if you'd like to reorder. Nope, we're good for now. But you could continue to give her any more information that you want to give her. And I'm going to say, I think this looks good. She wants to know how many total weeks. So I already did that planning calendar. And so I know that I've got 31 weeks to deal with. Okay. Actually, after I went through and looked at it, I only have 26 total weeks that aren't those like little 2-day weeks or whatever. I'm only counting the big ones. And let's say one standard per week, except the writing. When it comes to writing, all of them in the unit can be taught together. Please integrate grammar, let's say speaking tasks. Okay. Let's see what she comes up with. Okay, so I just paused until she came up with this, and this is the 26-week instructional calendar that she gave me. Let's take a look at what this looks like. I'm going to wrap text, make these bigger. This way I can read what it says. Make these smaller. Okay, so here she's telling me these are the 26 weeks. These are the standards each week. And as you can see, I've got, so the only thing that she did that I asked her to do differently is that she only gave me 1 week to do writing. So I have a choice. I can either space this out myself as I go, because I can see here that she's got 4 extra weeks at the end. So I can just space these out myself, and I can give myself an additional week for each of the writing sessions. And there's 4 here, and there's 4 weeks left over. So that would be perfect. So I think I'll probably do that. Or I could go back in and I could tell her to go ahead and make each writing task over 2 weeks. And she would redo this whole chart for me. If this looks good to me, then I take it back to my year-long Block It calendar and I put them all over on the right-hand side, and you'll see that here in a minute. Grab what you just planned with Camilla and plug it into the Year at a Glance calendar. Transfer the plan 1 week at a time into your calendar, adjusting for those weird weeks. Here's an example of mine from the beginning of the year. You can see I identified those weird weeks in pink. After you place your pacing in the calendar, double check and adjust to fit your school and district requirements. Don't forget to consider the lessons you enjoy and want to work into your plan. Okay, it's time to do it. Now that your pacing plan is complete, let's fill in those weird weeks. I usually use the days at the end of a grading period for reteaching or completing missing work. During other 2 or 3 day stretches or before a break, I use the activities in the Student Identity Celebration Solution. The Student Identity Celebration Solution offers 15 no-prep activities that build cultural competency by honoring students' backgrounds, experiences, and perspectives. These activities help create a classroom culture where every student feels seen. When we show students we value who they are, we build unbreakable bonds. Many can be done in just a few minutes during morning meetings, transitions, or closing circles with little to no materials needed. Or you can use the extend activities to fill those weird weeks and make that time meaningful. Here are a few of my favorites. I would start with the family heritage interview so my students have a starting point for their family's heritage. Then I would choose one or more of the other fun activities to work into a weird week and have some fun. I enjoy creating a calendar of all the holidays our students celebrate and then sharing the significance of each one. Students can do mini research projects and create a slide presentation to share with the class. We can make a school appropriate class playlist with music that is significant to them and their families. Another idea is to have students create mini posters with 3 of their most fun facts about their culture. Hang them around the room and have students use Post-its and provided sentence starters to give compliments. My favorite of all of them is the map activity. We can map where all the students' families originated and then have students make a travel brochure about the area. It's even fun if you have them make them about each other's travel areas. Choose at least 2 or 3 to plug into those weird weeks and see what you can learn about your students. In the next chapter, we will talk about exactly how to plan quickly and efficiently. You'll free your mental energy for instruction rather than constant catch up. You'll meet high levels of maximizing instructional time on your teacher evaluations. All of this will create the kind of positive climate that makes your students thrive.